Hello and hello to you all. Uh, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Quinn, and I'll be running Helpful Service today. Uh, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, and just as it says here, everyone is welcome and loved here. So now we can go ahead and get started with the standard Joe chant. Hopefully you should be able to see it and chant along with me if you feel like it. go ahead and welcome the Buddhas to our temple.
This is the quickest way to clear out.
Alright, so we'll welcome the Buddhas to our temple. We respectfully welcome Amida Buddha to our temple as we scatter flowers of joy. We respectfully welcome the Buddhas of all times and places to our temple as we scatter flowers of joy. Now I'll recite the 6 paramitas. Giving, may I be generous and helpful. Guidance, may I be guided by the Buddhist precepts. Tolerance, may I regard the mistakes of others with sympathy. Perseverance, may I do my best in all things. Meditation, may I reflect deeply on my life through the Buddha's teachings. Insight, may I understand the meaning of Namu Amida Butsu. And then we'll move on to our Bodhisattva vows. The many beings are numberless. I vow to save them. Greed, hatred, and ignorance rise endlessly. I vow to abandon them. Dharma gates are countless. I vow to wake to them. Buddha's way is unsurpassed. I vow to embody it fully. All right. So now we can go ahead and move on to our service today.
I want to thank everybody for coming. This means a lot to me, and I'm doing what I'm very passionate about, which is helping get healing people and helping people be guided back to their own personal truth and finding joy and happiness in the life now. And there are ways of thinking and just really simple kind of aha moments when you realize those you can start to make little shifts or changes that really do affect your life on a grand level. And so being aware of those really can give you a real good shot at having some happiness and really finding your soul's path and purpose here in this lifetime. That's my passion and my joy is to help people reach that. You know, enlightenment is something that's a lifelong process and it continually happens.
All right. And for those of you who don't know her, this is Erin, and she should be back by the 20th, so you might be seeing more of her then. All right. Next up is, we'll go ahead and get started with the service itself. Go ahead and do the triple refuge for you all. Buddham Saranam Gacchami, Dhammam Saranam Gacchami, Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Beloved Sangha, we have walked the path through right view, intention, speech, action, livelihood, and effort. Today we arrive at right mindfulness, the practice of being fully present, moment to moment, with awareness and compassion. Right mindfulness, or samasati, is the practice of remembering to be here. It is keeping the mind anchored in the present, observing without judgment, and holding awareness with kindness. The Buddha taught that mindfulness involves awareness in 4 foundations: the body, noticing sensations, posture, and breath; feelings, acknowledging pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral states; the mind, observing mental states like calm, agitation, clarity, or confusion, and Dhamma, awareness of universal truths, impermanence, and the nature of reality. Mindfulness is not passively watching life go by. It is active, engaged awareness, a way of meeting the world with curiosity instead of resistance. When we live mindfully, we stop running from the present moment. We stop being trapped by the past or anxious for the future. We return again and again to the only place we can ever live, now. And with that, we'll go ahead and move on to our breath work and meditation. So we'll go ahead and do this chant that helps with the meditation. Feel free to join along.
Namaste. So I want to share something with you that can help you during meditations, breath work, mindfulness, just to still your mind, quiet yourself, and allow more access to hear your higher self. Yogena tutasha bodhen vacha Travashadi Kingdom Yoga Kurat Din Rabadam Bhumidam Patanjaliyam.
Before we get to that breath work, go ahead and bring to mind any sort of blockages, anything that you've been struggling with lately, and we'll start and try to clear those up. All right. Now we'll go ahead and move on to our breath work. For today's breath work, the focus is anchoring in the now. So when we inhale, have the intention of I am here. When we exhale, this is now. And for those of you who are just joining us, who haven't done breath work with us before, what we like to do something called the infinity breath, which is we start by exhaling all of our stale energy, which forms the bottom half of the infinity breath, and then we hold in our center, and then we breathe in all of the bright, wonderful crater light around us. Then we hold in our center once more, and then we breathe out, but this time we are just circulating that energy, and then we hold in our center once more, and we repeat. just however is comfortable to you, whatever rhythm, you don't have to follow along. Anyway, as I said, as you inhale, just the intention of I am here, and as you exhale, the intention of this is now. Now, as you breathe in and out, go ahead and feel the breath rise and fall. Let the body soften with each exhale. Notice sounds, sensations, and the temperature of the air without clinging or resisting. Simply allow. And as you do that, we're going to go ahead and start moving into our meditation. So you can close your eyes or keep them open, or you can keep them half lidded if you prefer. Our meditation today is focused on noticing without naming. So start by getting ready for meditation in whichever way you do. Allow thoughts to pass like clouds across the sky. Notice without labeling them as good or bad. Notice the body breathing itself. Rest in awareness, open and gentle. And I just want you to just feel your body in this moment, to feel everything around you, to feel everything within you, everything that you are, just being present right here, right now. And whenever you're ready to end the meditation, just end it by silently affirming, I am awake in this moment. All right? As you come back to us, I have some mindfulness homework and integration to go over with all of you. For this week, the mindfulness homework and integration starts with a 3-point check-in. So pause 3 times a day and ask, what is my body feeling? What is my mind feeling? And what is my heart needing? Or what is my mind doing and what is my heart needing? Next up is a journal prompt. What moments this week did I feel most present? What pulled me away from presence? And finally, we have a mindful task, which is to choose one ordinary task, washing dishes, eating, walking, and do it with full attention, no multitasking. All right? And before I get to the final blessing, I'm going to go ahead and show the Reiki healing of the mind for this week. So for this week, our Reiki healing of the mind is real joy. There is no more joyful place in the world than exactly where you are right now, because you cannot experience real joy when your mind is elsewhere, thinking of what has happened in the past or what might happen in the future. And if you want, you can go ahead and read. All right. for be safe and well, I'll go ahead and show you guys what we do here at the temple. If you want to stop by, these are the services we provide. And just as it says here, we do appreciate any donations. So if you feel drawn to give, we do appreciate that. And I'll go ahead and end this with a final blessing. Beloveds, mindfulness is not something you achieve. It is something you remember. Return to yourself. Return to this moment. This is the path to peace. All right. Thank you all for joining me. Namaste, Sat Nam to you. I wish you all a wonderful week to come, full of mindfulness. And for those of you who are sticking around for our discussion podcast, just give us a little bit more time, we'll set up, and we'll start talking about the service. There we go. Testing. All right, it's working. Hello, everyone. As I've said, my name is Quinn, and this here is Miguel. Today we're having our discussion on the service we just had on right mindfulness. Do you have anything to say about the service, Miguel?
Yeah, it's always good to be mindful in the now. Otherwise, it's so easy to drift off into the regrets of the past, or drifting off into the worries of the future, And so it's good to just more focus on the now. If anything, plan for the future, but, it's never really a good idea to linger on the past. I mean, obviously we should all learn from our mistakes, but, it's never a healthy idea to linger on what you could have done or what you did do,
Right. And just like, being present, being in the moment, recognizing things around you, There's a lot that can be said for just uh, being here now and the benefits it can provide. Even just situational awareness or, just even safety, to a degree. Recognizing like what's going on at any given moment. If you find yourself being kind of lost in kind of a cyclical negative spiral of thoughts, one thing you can do is you can bring yourself back to the present. You can focus on what's going on right now, and rather than just like holding on to what happened in the past or what you're worrying about in the future. Just being where you are now and focusing on the next step, right? On the next thing that you have to do, or on just what's right in front of you.
Yeah, the main thing about mindfulness is that it's about awareness. If I'm mindful of something, I'm aware of something, whatever it might be, and like he was saying, being aware of the present, but it can be anything, just something passive, just being aware of your own flaws. Like if I have an issue, it's a lot easier to fix my issue if I'm mindful of my problem.
Right.
It's like in Alcoholics Anonymous, the first step to recovery is admitting you have a problem. And so if you can admit, okay, I have an issue, I've got some problem that I can definitely work on, because we can all learn something, at some point, because none of us are perfect. And so, when we're mindful of our flaws, it's a lot easier for us to work on it. Like it's so much easier when you can put a name on a problem, because now you've put it in a neat little box, and you could say, okay, well, I've got this problem. I know the boundaries of what my issue is, so I can find steps to work on my problem that I have. It's all about mindfulness. You can't work on a problem you don't even know you have.
Right. And I think also with regard to that, you may notice something that you are just once or a few times even, that you don't want to be a part of who you are. That you just do out of habit, right? And noticing it is the first step. But even if you've noticed it once, it may slip your mind. You may accidentally end up slipping into an old pattern. And part of mindfulness is being aware to where you can catch yourself when you're trying to break old patterns and be like, oh, no, that's not a pattern I want to continue. That's not a person I want to continue being. If you're not mindful, like, you can easily slip back into those old patterns, and just like, it can feel futile in some ways that you're even trying to change or to improve, because you're not noticing when you're slipping into that pattern, and then like before you know it, you're just back to how you were, even though you noticed that there was something you didn't want to do anymore. Because you aren't mindful of it, you're not able to catch yourself in those moments and be like, wait, no, I'm going to do something different this time. And if you are mindful, like, you can catch yourself in those moments, and you can start to build out that person that you want to be. And to change your responses, to change your way of acting in those situations, and to be there and to be present in any given moment. That's got its own benefits.
Yeah, and self-betterment is a little more than just simply mindfulness. Because even if I was aware of an issue, if I'm just mindful of it and don't do anything about it, it really doesn't amount to anything, honestly.
Right.
So
you have to take action.
Right. So obviously, once I'm mindful of it, then I have to take I have to take the right actions and I have the right intentions. Because I can have a problem, and I might not have good reasons why I even want to fix it, or I might have a problem and I'm aware of it, but I don't really do anything about it. I just I'll just, sit on it and I don't care, or whatever, And so,
yeah, and here's where I feel like, it all ties in with the rest of the Eightfold Path. First you have your right view, you have your right intention, you have your right effort, your right occupation, your all that sort of stuff, and it builds on itself. By the time you get to right mindfulness, you're already putting into action like the rest of the steps, but you just need to be mindful so that you recognize when you're falling back into old patterns, and also to be present in the moment, to not lose yourself in the past or in the future, to be able to celebrate your achievements when you have them. That's another big thing. Celebrating when you reach a milestone. A lot of people, they'll reach a milestone, but they're so focused on the future that they don't even stop to celebrate it. They're instead planning on how they're going to get to that next step. But in the process, they're not enjoying life. They're not appreciating how far they've come. So what is the point of making that step, making that achievement in the first place if you're not even there? If you're not even experiencing that moment? Why were you even chasing that moment if you weren't going to be there to feel it, to be with the people that you care about when you reach that milestone, to have that core memory and to have that spur you forward?
The saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, comes to mind. Because the horse might be thirsty, and he's not even aware that there's even water there. Or, he might be aware that the water's there, but just, doesn't take the action to drink the water. And that's what people do. It's a twofold thing. We have to be aware of it, but then we have to we have to pursue it. It's not enough to just be aware. Or and you have some people who want to change, but they don't know exactly what it is they need changing.
Yeah.
So it can be very difficult because we don't always see both things, and and it's and so it's like the saying, you have to be willing to change in order to change.
Mm-hmm. And part of it is even just recognizing who you are, recognizing what your thoughts are in a given moment, being able to see why you are behaving in a certain way. And once you can figure out the why, a lot of times it's a lot easier to resolve than if you're just like, oh, I just got to change this, because without knowing why you're even doing this in the first place. Because if you can address the why, the how becomes a lot easier. You're no longer, let's say, when you feel like someone is making you feel inferior, you have a tendency to lash out and say things that you don't mean, or things that end up biting you in the butt later on, end up hurting you. Like maybe your boss talks down to you, right? And so you end up talking back, and before you know it, you're out of a job, or you're docked pay, or like some negative consequence comes from that. At the very least, you get into an argument with your boss and you have a bad day. What you need to recognize is, oh, I am doing this because my manager is making me feel inferior. And one thing I can do is I can talk to my manager about this, about the way that my manager addresses me, about the way that we communicate, and that can help to change this pattern, so that we both have a better day. Or another thing you can do is, if that doesn't work, if you don't really see a way to be able to change the way that your boss or manager is acting, you can be like, okay, I know how I am feeling right now, and I need to get out of this situation. I need to leave this this space for a bit and calm down, and then, like, once you get a moment, you can step away, you can take a moment to breathe. Maybe you can say you just have to go to the bathroom for a bit, and you can calm down, and you can return and just return to whatever the present moment is. Let go of what you were holding on to.
Yeah. A lot of times, it's when we're mindful of something, it's not always obvious, the benefits, but when we stop to actually be aware of something, and then we just kind of think about it, meditate on it, and think, well, how can I do this better? How can I improve upon this? And so, and sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes, it's not, the solution isn't always so clear, and sometimes it might take a while. So I know what it's like for it to be difficult, but a lot of times you have to weigh the pros and cons, just kind of think of different solutions, once you're aware of all the different possibilities, then it becomes much easier, and you can break down the problem in smaller chunks, so you're not overwhelming yourself,
Right. Yeah, and I think we've covered this pretty well. Is there any particular point that you think we haven't gotten to or haven't spoken about?
No, I'd say we covered it pretty well.
All right, well, thank you all for joining us. Namaste and Satnam to you. I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I'll see you again next week. Bye.